watching the Cactus Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Two teams that stormed through the end of the season to make sure that they could play in December. Kansas State, winners of 4 of its last 5. UCLA took 2 of 3, including its finale against Cal, to play in the Cactus Bowl this year. But the guy that got UCLA to the end, in part, Josh Rosen, will not play, medically unable to go, says Jedd Fisch, the interim head coach. Jason Benetti, Jordan Rogers along with you. Olivia Harlan is downstairs. Look, without Josh Rosen, UCLA loses the top passer in the Pac-12. Devon Modster, the freshman, is in. What do they get?
Well, he's not Josh Rosen. It'd be unfair to compare Devon Modster to a guy that maybe is the most accurate and most pro-ready quarterback in college football right now. But Devon Modster will bring a different element to this UCLA offense. Last time we saw him, he was entered into a game that was designed for Josh Rosen. I expect that Jedd Fisch, with the time off, extra bowl practice, is going to design something to utilize his mobility, get him outside the pocket, and play to his strengths a little bit more.
Meantime, you said get outside the pocket. Skylar Thompson for Kansas State can do that. He started the last 3 and got them almost single-handedly to this bowl game.
Yeah, he's quickly becoming the cardiac kid. I mean, with a big upset at Oklahoma State, a late comeback at Texas Tech, another one at Iowa State. I mean, he's showing that he has the moxie and the playmaking ability to really lead this offense. Now, he started as the 3rd quarterback when we opened up back in August, so there are going to be some bumps. He's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but he can make some plays. And really, I'm looking for this Kansas State team to run the football tonight against a UCLA defense that's porous.
Question is, will he be at the controls for the final game coached by Bill Snyder? There have been some rumblings. He told us he has yet to make his decision on whether or not this will be his last game. Jedd Fisch told us during the week that he might wait until 1 minute before kickoff to decide on his quarterback. He was 29 minutes under the wire, about a half an hour in advance. Josh Rosen deemed to be out. How did it happen, Olivia Harlan?
Well, Josh Rosen wanted to play tonight. He practiced all week and even warmed up in full pads. He tried to persuade team doctors in the 11th hour to let him play, but they thought after suffering 2 concussions this season, it wasn't for the best. You can see him hugging teammates. He gave me a shrug. He's obviously disappointed, guys. Last week, he told me it was important for him to try to win his first bowl game and finish a season, which he didn't last year. So Devon Modster will get the start. He split first-team reps this week. Coach Fisch told me he's ready and that nothing changes schematically.
That's interesting. Split the first-team reps. What does Modster lose and Jedd Fisch lose because of that?
Oh, he loses valuable reps. I mean, he played most of their last regular season game after Rosen went down, but those extra practices are the best thing for teams to get guys ready, especially young quarterbacks. So splitting the reps, not ideal. He's going to be growing up even early in this game.
UCLA won the toss and will defer. So Kansas State and a very dynamic special teams crew will have it first. DJ Reed has 2 returns for touchdowns this year, 1 kick and 1 punt. So that is something that UCLA will have to deal with all night long from Kansas State. Second in the nation at the end of the regular season in kick return and punt return average. So J.J. Molson, the kicker for UCLA, has a very dangerous man back there. Kansas State in its 8th straight bowl game, one of 16 teams in the nation to do that. It's a rematch of the Alamo Bowl from a couple of years ago. UCLA and Kansas State from Phoenix tonight. Molson strikes it, and we are underway. Pringle from inside the 10. Byron Pringle is met at the hole by Adarius Pickett, and he gets to the 30-yard line. So the guy we were talking about, Skylar Thompson, as some jawing goes on. Skylar Thompson, the freshman out of Independence, Missouri, went to the same high school as Albert Pujols for a couple of years, so fitting we're in a baseball stadium. But Skylar Thompson kind of has the it factor, right?
Yeah, the it factor, moxie, call it what you want, but when he gets out there, guys rally around him. He plays with a confidence, a swagger. Like I said, he's a young quarterback, still learning. He may go through 1 or 2 progressions. You're going to see him get outside the pocket and try to make a lot of plays tonight.
May see a lot of running from Kansas State this evening. UCLA's 2nd worst in rush defense in the country, ahead of only San Jose State. Play action on the first play for Thompson. He wants to go deep. His man had to wait, and it's incomplete for Pringle. Second down. Let's take a look at our impact players on this side of the ball. K-State offensively, UCLA on defense.
Yeah, you're going to see a fullback in there, Jason Winston-Dimmel. He's a guy that he will lead you to the football, and not many offenses in college football these days have a fullback on the field as frequently as Kansas State does. But the other guy on the other side of the ball, Kenny Young, they'll be going head-to-head all night.
What do you mean lead you to the football?
Well, he's going to be the guy. They like to run a power scheme, so you'll see him lining up formationally, and usually the ball carrier will be following him as they're doing right now.
This is Barnes on the run. He stood up by Keyshawn Lucier South, the redshirt sophomore, for a beat-up UCLA defense that gave up about 37 points a game.
Yeah, and that's something we're going to keep an eye on. What is UCLA going to do? And defensive coordinator Tom Bradley, who's one of the last coaches standing on that side of the ball as Chip Kelly puts this new staff together, what are they going to do to slow down this Kansas State running attack? I think we're going to see safety Adarius Pickett rolling down into the box much more frequently than possibly they'd like.
Thompson faked the screen. Now goes the other direction for Pringle, who's got a lot of ground to make up, and he's out of bounds at the 28.
Great job here by Pringle, turning something out of nothing. This is a double screen. Initially, Thompson wanted to work to the left, hit Pringle late to the right. Good call on third down, something safe, easy for Skylar Thompson. But good job by UCLA keeping everything in front of them, forcing the punt.
And when you defer, this is what you want it to look like if you're UCLA.
Yeah, especially for a defense that's been struggling, right? To come out and get a 3-and-out in the first drive, let your offense go down there and set the tone.
Adarius Pickett waves this off, and UCLA will have good field position for its redshirt freshman quarterback in his second start this year. His only other one came against Utah in a UCLA loss. Jed Fish told us he's not going to change the game plan at all if Modster and now when Modster is in. But what do you think?
Well, I think that might have been a little bit of coach talk, Jason, because you got a lot of time off. You had some practices that, you know, even if they thought there was a possibility Rosen could be back, in the back of their mind, they're developing a package of plays that they like for Devon Modster, to utilize his skill set, because him and Josh Rosen, very different players. I think they're going to move him outside the pocket. I think they might even design some runs for him tonight to get it and utilize his feet.
Modster to throw on first down to the sideline and dropped by Jordan Lastly. It didn't come out cleanly out of his hand, but Lastly didn't look it in. Second down.
Yeah, you're going to see my bias here again, Jason, because as a receiver, you want to switch your hands to the other side. He tried to cradle that one. You want to stab it, flip your hands the other way. That should have been a catch by Jordan Lastly, but for all he's done for this offense, you're going to allow him to have one to start the game.
61 catches this year. 12 in the game against Cal, as this is Demetric Felton, the redshirt freshman, gaining 11 for a UCLA first down, and your impact players over here.
Impact player on that side of the ball. Just gave him a little criticism. Jordan Lastly is a heck of a player. He's strong, physical, maybe not the fastest or, as we just saw, the purest catcher, but he is a playmaker. And if I'm Devon Modster, I'm going his way a lot tonight. DJ Reed on the other side, as good as he is on special teams, he'll be following Lastly around as well.
Here's a pass to Christian Pabico, the walk-on receiver for UCLA. And Lastly and Pabico playing side by side. Christian Pabico is rather used to that. He played in high school with Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, the former walk-on, actually still a walk-on. Got a ton of value in that slot position, runs a 4.5. He's quick, great understanding of leverage.
No catches his first 3 years.
Isn't that amazing?
It's unreal. It's a type of thing that leads players to say, I'm going to go be a walk-on, see what happens. K-State has had great success with former walk-ons, and Pabico has here for UCLA.
Get this, Jason. Only Division II and FCS offers out of high school. You said it, teammate of Juju Smith-Schuster. He was better than him when receiving yards and touchdowns, and still no offers. Great chance for him to get on D1 here and having some success.
This run play is going nowhere. Jade Kirby with the stop, and it's third down coming up for UCLA. But on Pabico, I mean, here's a guy who at points was forcing Juju Smith-Schuster into his decoy.
Yeah, absolutely, and nobody wanted him. Unbelievable. Now he's a guy that gets a lot of looks. He's versatile. Those slot receivers have to be able to do a lot. It's amazing that a walk-on goes to a slot receiver that's asked to do a ton in the pass game as well as the run game.
Modster to run, weaving his way across the 35, and he is going to be about a half-yard short. Eli Walker with a big stick on Modster.
And they're going to get to the ball and go for this one.
4th down for UCLA. Modster, the pitch. And the initial hit didn't stop Felton. He reaches for the 1st down for UCLA.
Boy, what a great second effort. I was up here trying to figure out what they were going to do. I was thinking they might go some kind of zone read, utilize Modster's mobility. Instead, they go speed option. And a great second effort for the 1st down.
Demetric Felton actually took away from the offense in the first 12 games of the season. 2 catches, -2 yards. He's been a focal point so far tonight, as Olorunfunmi is spun around and stopped at 2nd down and long as Reggie Walker turned him around, the sophomore in his 23rd start. Demetric Felton for UCLA, helping to soften the blow of the loss of Darren Andrews a couple of weeks ago. Lost for the year, one of the top receivers for the Bruins. Modster, the throwback to Colton Miller, the tackle, who was eligible, and that's going nowhere. He lost the ball out of bounds. Well, there's chicanery, then there's that, Jordan.
Jason, that's one of those things that sounds really good and looks really good in practice. You're going to see the backside tackle will be the one that's going to end up getting the ball here. Going to bluff the block, let the guys run by. One of those ones that Colton Miller, number 77 there, he's been drooling about. He's been egging on Jedd Fisch. Hey, it's a bowl game. Let me get a catch. It's going to work. We're going to go for a touchdown. And then reality hits and you're in 3rd and 13.
Saw that fake punt earlier in the game just before us. Modster on the run, trying to get some yardage to set up a 4th down if they want to go for it. But they do have a very talented kicker in J.J. Molson, who they likely will bring out.
Yeah, previously on that 4th down here at the 31-yard line, it's a longer field goal. Not completely out of range, but I understand going for it here. Get the points, take the lead, let your defense continue to play well.
So the 8th generation descendant of the man who found fame in the Molson Brewery in 1786. He is part of that Molson family. JJ from 42. Absolutely drills it to give UCLA the lead. Well, if you're 14 minutes in and you're UCLA, down your coach, down your quarterback, this isn't so bad.
Not at all. Not at all. And I was talking to Jedd Fisch, who actually I played for in Jacksonville. I know Jedd Fisch well. Said high school quarterback can hit a door. College quarterback, they can hit the doorknob. NFL quarterback, they'll throw it through the keyhole. He said Josh can throw it in the keyhole, turn the knob, and open the door all at the same time. Unbelievable accuracy. You tie that in with his arm strengths, intangibles. He's ready for the next level. Doesn't seem like it would fit in the, so he manipulates the ball a little bit too, which is magical. Sounds good. Paints a good picture.
Pringle takes it out of the end zone, a dangerous kick return unit, and Pringle is driven back across the 20-yard line. So the big three, a little fisticuffs again. Last time these two teams saw each other in a bowl game, there was some handshake struggling, let's say, in the post game, and now they're separated on the field. Josh Rosen, very thoughtful quarterback, very cerebral quarterback, watching as his defense gets gashed by Justin Silman for a medium gain on 1st down. But on Josh Allen, too, one of Rosen's combatants for that #1 quarterback spot. He had a very nice game out in Boise in the bowl game a couple of days ago. Showed great arm talent.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's the thing. The arm talent is unquestionable. He's got more arm talent than Josh Rosen. It's the consistency. And that's something I've been wanting to see from Josh Rosen as well, more consistency. But then again, he's had 3 offensive coordinators in 3 years, so you can kind of understand that right now. both talented.
New quarterback in for Kansas State. Alex Delton replaces Skylar Thompson late in the first quarter for the final play of this first quarter. And Delton has a big run. Dimmel along with him. Delton running away from the Bruins. Touchdown! And a flag on the tackle in the end zone. What a first play for that young man.
This is why they're happy that Alex Delton is healthy. As good of an athlete as Skylar Thompson is, Alex Delton is a runner, and this is what he does, and this is the element that two quarterbacks can bring to you in a system when they have differing strengths.
After the run across the goal line, personal foul, horse collar tackle on the defense. 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. The quarter ended on that play. We will have the try for point.
The first in-state quarterback to start for Bill Snyder since Dylan Meyer in 2004. Alex Delton with the 68-yard touchdown on his first play. Matthew McCrane's extra point is good.
Football's a simple game. It's just a quarterback power. You got a physical quarterback, you pull a guard, give him a chance to get to the second level, but really the backside block to free Alex Delton was what sprung him. Then you finish with the speed, and there's Kansas State running the football.
Great night to be at the zoo. In fact, every night is a great night to be at the zoo. It's always like 60 degrees here at worst. So the Phoenix Zoo enjoying the illumination of the evening. 7-3 Kansas State with the lead. Jason Benetti, Jordan Rogers, Olivia Harlan along with you, and Alex Delton checks into the game and then runs away with his career long, a 68-yard rushing touchdown to give Kansas State the lead.
Got a feeling that's not the last we're going to see him. Had 142 yards against Oklahoma earlier in the season. Now that he's healthy, you're going to see a heavy dose of both quarterbacks, I think, moving forward.
And on the touchdown, he was horse-collared in the end zone, so the kickoff comes from the 50-yard line. And they kick it back to the 2. And Darnay Holmes, who had the interception earlier, he's inside the 15 there. Let's look at it. Brandon Stevens in at tailback, and he is drilled by Elijah Sullivan, the sophomore linebacker for Kansas State. He's been the special teams maven for them there. Defensively makes the stop. And a sizable K-State crowd here.
Yeah, they got loud there. I'll tell you what.
Modster high on the sideline, and Lastly reels it in beautifully. Oh my goodness.
I'll tell you what, this is what makes Jordan Lastly special, and a reason that NFL scouts are considering where they might pick this guy. Even though he won't blow you away with his speed, he makes plays like this.
UCLA on the ground for a first down. Olivia.
Guys, Jordan Lastly was telling me that when Josh Rosen is out there, he just has ice through his veins. He has this calming aura. Everyone trusts him. But Devon Modster is a little bit less commanding in the huddle. So Lastly tells him, look, this is your huddle now. Josh isn't out here. You got to take command here.
This throw is on target for Theo Howard. What did your receivers say about you?
Well, I don't think I ever lacked the confidence. I maybe lacked the skill set that came along with the confidence I brought. But
come on.
That's the thing. I mean, as a quarterback, it's tough. You're following Josh Rosen. I mean, there's reason that you go into a huddle and your head's not as high as maybe he holds his. But the more he makes throws, like we just saw to Jordan Lastly, the more completions he gets, the more confident he'll play, the more outspoken he'll be in the huddle.
How long does that process take if you're Modster, especially after following a guy like Rosen?
Jason, it can take a play.
One play.
It really can. It can take a play. It can. But you don't want to be faking it. But to some degree, you got to set the tone for your team, and you learn that early as a quarterback.
Quick set. Theo Howard again shakes one tackle, but not the second one from Eli Walker, the safety. So second down and short for UCLA.
Jedd Fisch calling a really good game right now after a few adjustments in the first drives. We saw the catch by Lastly on the sidelines. That was an easy high-low read. That's what we call a trigger read for a quarterback. Doesn't have to read a whole field. He's reading one defender, and a nice easy hitch throw there to get another completion.
Olaronfunmi fell down after running into Turan, his left guard. You worked with Jedd Fisch. What's he like as a quarterback guru?
As a guru, he's a tinkerer. He loves to have his hands on. He wants to figure out what part of the mechanics, what part of your lower body, how can you get more velocity, how can we clean up the intricacies of the game. He loves to have his hands on and treat you like you're a ball of putty, and he's going to mold you.
7 straight completions now for Modster. This is Jordan Lastly escaping the defense for a touchdown. That'll build the confidence. 52 yards.
You know who we were talking about earlier, Jason? A guy named Christian Pabico, number 17. He didn't just catch that touchdown, but he's the reason that one broke for a touchdown. A great block on the outside, an easy throw, and once again, Jedd Fisch is setting up Devon Modster to make easy completions, allow his playmakers to do the rest.
Olaronfunmi, by the way, is going to have to be careful. He was right at the edge of the sideline with his helmet off for a pretty epic celebration for UCLA.
Watch this block by a current walk-on, Christian Pabico. He'll do it all. He'll catch it, and he'll also dive and lay his body on the line to spring his buddy for a long and much-needed answer by UCLA and Devon Modster.
Our former colleague, 5 years, $23.5 or so million. Chip Kelly, the new head coach at UCLA. He is here tonight. There you see him. He's not literally looking over Jedd Fisch's shoulder. He's on the other sideline. But the new head coach for UCLA, daring offensively, skilled in terms of his ability to get a team to the national championship game. We saw that with Oregon. How does this change UCLA, a team that's not been to the Rose Bowl since '98?
Oh, I think it changes really the aura or mentality or really confidence. I mean, when Chip Kelly walks in the building, I think this offense is going to think they're a lot better than maybe they've even shown at times. That's who he is as an offensive guru. He maximizes the skill set of what he has, and I think that's what he's doing tonight. He's taking a few notes. You better believe it. He's looking at a few guys and saying, I think I can change a few things, and here's what I can do with this guy or that guy.
Saw Jedd Fisch on the sideline. He certainly is a big part of what UCLA has done already offensively in terms of growth this year, up to about 34 points a game. But Chip Kelly has hired a couple of assistants, and as you said, is watching tonight as Kansas State gets it back with DJ Reed. Finding his way to the edge, Reed finally stalls out just short of the 30-yard line. With this new early signing period, new coaches are going to come in earlier, it seems, and Chip Kelly here is his current class.
Yeah, it's maybe not the headline that UCLA fans wanted to see. No 5 stars yet, handful of 4 stars. They're still figuring out who they need, and that's why I said this is as much an evaluative process for Chip Kelly watching this bowl game to figure out who else they need to go get.
So what's he watching in game tonight?
I think he's evaluating Devon Modster, seeing what he can build or if he'll fit into the system. But the reason Chip Kelly's successful, because it's not here's what we're doing, this is what always works. It's how can I adapt to what I do to fit the players that I have and the skill sets that they possess. That's what makes him special.
Defense certainly could get shored up some after something of a rough season, especially against the run. Skylar Thompson back in. He dumps it off to Silman. I liked what Caleb Wilson on the UCLA sideline said when Chip Kelly was hired. He said, I better get my cardio up.
That's true. Tell you what, you won't have to worry about that. That's one of the things that Chip Kelly forces you almost to do is you'll have a GPS tracker. He'll know how much hours you slept the night before. I mean, they track so much data to figure out how to maximize these players. He did it at Philadelphia, had teammates that played for him. Big on recovery, big on making sure that guys are rested and recovered so they can play at their best.
Making a foray back into the Pac-12 after such success at Oregon. Skylar Thompson has it batted away, so 3rd down coming up. And look, if you're Chip Kelly, You would think at some point everybody knows who you are. He's wearing his name tag tonight, right? He's in the athletic director's booth. Hi, I'm Chip.
Yeah, I think everybody knows who you are, Chip. I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, you know.
It's like the Seinfeld episode where Kramer tries to get everybody to wear name tags. So they talk to each other in the lobby. I think they know Chip by face. Most of these fans will very soon. If they don't, so Thompson the entire series after the Delton touchdown run. Thompson off the spin, can't keep his feet. Boss Tagaloa was in there, caving in the pocket, 4th down.
And really that right there, that's a coverage sack. That's a great job by the secondary of UCLA to cover all the options that Kansas State wanted to hit downfield. And Thompson just ran out of time.
And the injured party for Kansas State is the left tackle, Scott France, who started all 26 games in his career. So they're without the right tackle, Dalton Reisner, and they're without the left tackle, France, for the moment. There's Reisner, the first team all Big 12 player with the shoulder injury.
Yeah, he's really been playing with a shoulder injury for a long time. And if you look at this offensive line, their strength was, now that France down as well, the tackles. So this is concerning. You're already down your starting right tackle, your left tackle now in jeopardy, and you're struggling to pass the ball.
Scott France is an interesting guy and a very honest guy and a great story. Olivia, right?
Yeah, Jason, he made history as just the second active openly gay college football player. He told his teammates before his family guys. This was 2 years ago in a team building activity, player only meeting. The secret was kept all that time until he was ready to go public about it. Scott said he'd always struggled with who he was, being afraid and angry with who he was, but that day changed everything. He says he's never felt more loved or accepted.
And you see him talk about it, and you hear what he has to say about it. It's just a beautiful story of what sports can mean to a player.
And you know who the first guy to come up to him and give him a hug was? His running back, Alex Barnes. There's a special relationship you have with the guys in the locker room. And one reason that it's not the first time we've heard of a player coming out to his teammates, his football family, before maybe even his normal family. That's the type of relationships that you have. And to add on to that story, that happened in 2015.
Yeah.
And it's just started this summer to catch some traction, which means these teammates not only respect him and love him, but they keep it private as much as he wants to as well.
You think about that moment, and to have the feeling and the level of comfort in that room to be able to do that.
I imagine.
Yeah. A great story for Kansas State as they will run.
And a good player. Hopefully we'll find some more out about what happened to him there, and they need him back in this game.
Came off the field pretty easily, so the hope would be that he could get back in as he is in the huddle with the offensive line over on the sideline.
Some of those offensive linemen want some TV time sometimes. Some of the guys I played with, hey, I'm going to take a knee on this one. Mom wanted to see a little more camera time.
All right, so after 2nd and 8, I'm going to ask you to bury somebody. Modster, play action, deep ball down the middle. Theo Howard. It's a bullseye for a touchdown.
That is what we call a dime, Jason. And one of the things that Jed Fish mentioned was the strongest part of Modster's game, his deep ball. And the arc and the touch that he put on that, and still it was 45, 50, 55 yards downfield. That is a heck of a throw. And Chip Kelly right now may be taking some notes. Hey, we'll keep that one in the playbook.
Trying to cool him off over on the sideline on a 70-yard target hit from Modster.
Hey, I told you sometimes it only takes one play.
Extra point for Molson is good. 10-point lead for UCLA.
And taking a page out of Josh Rosen's book, he was so good at the play action, at fooling the defense. You see here with the play action, and then it's the touch, the accuracy downfield. Finds Howard running wide open. Sometimes they're the toughest. Delivered it perfectly.
In bowl season, anything can happen. The team with the interim coach can lead by 10, and you can ice skate in Phoenix.
You ever been ice skating?
Come on.
I'm awful.
Yeah, I'm worse.
Really bad.
Buddy.
How do they keep that cold?
I'm not going to find out. UCLA up 10 in the second quarter. DJ Reed for Kansas State finds a seam across the 35. Mossy Johnson just got to him. Thompson, the freshman, Delton, the sophomore, both scheduled to be back. Jesse Ertz with the knee injury earlier this year, so 3 quarterbacks have taken snaps. Delton to run again, finds the crease so well, and he'll be about a yard short.
And this is what I mean by running with the quarterback. You see Alex Barnes is used to getting the ball handed to him, but now he's a lead blocker. So now you have an extra hat or an extra blocker against a defense that creates an advantage. That's why running quarterbacks are so dangerous.
Juggle on the snap, and Barnes is stood up and dropped. Chigozie Inaruka, the redshirt sophomore out of Sacramento, busted in.
And a missed assignment there by the left guard, Abdul Beecham. So probably block that guy. You know, Tuioti Mariner's a guy that he's playing defensive end at 285 right now.
Delton finds his way outside for a first down. Kansas State so shifty. Alex Delton, the sophomore.
As I mentioned, Jacob Tuioti Mariner, he's 285 pounds. Right now he plays a 4-down defensive end. And they're playing well.
Delton rips it downfield, and some contact with Wadu. And no flag comes in on the contact with Zuber.
I know I'm an offensive guy, Jason, but that one I think could have been a flag. Ball wasn't perfectly on target.
And that's why.
As he's got some pressure on him. Not perfectly on target, but oh, actually, now that I look at it, I think that might be a good no call. You see Wadu comes over the top, doesn't really make significant contact. Now I show my bias again.
Well, you just show that you're a waffler now. Delton to throw, snaps it off in the flat for Barnes, and that's a beautiful tackle by Metters to set up third down. One timeout for K-State, 30 seconds of the clock moving. And now timeout Kansas State at the 30-second mark. 3rd and 9 for Kansas State. No timeouts remaining.
Still in a 2-shell. I imagine they're going to try to attack the middle.
Tuioti Mariner is there to collapse on Delton, so that may be it for this drive for Kansas State, unless they want to go for it on 4th down, which would be a strange choice.
You know, I don't mind the call there.
You want to burn a timeout if you're UCLA or no?
Nah, I wouldn't right now. I like where we're at. We're up 10. If you're UCLA, you're thinking we're up 10. Let's go to half with the confidence, make some more corrections, and come out, and we get the ball too.
Pretty sterling job in the first half by your former coach to get Modster up and running offensively, don't you think?
Yeah, he's been stellar. The game plan, the adjustments that Jed Fish has made are why they're up 10 right now.
And we will hear from Jed Fish with Olivia. But first, we go to the studio for the halftime report. UCLA leads by 10. Adnan. And you're watching the Cactus Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. UCLA may be a surprise leader in the first half. 17-7 here in Phoenix at Chase Field, the home of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Jason Benetti, Jordan Rogers, Olivia Harlan is downstairs. Look, UCLA found out about half an hour before the game they're going to be without Josh Rosen. Devon Modster takes over. Slow start, but he really turned it up.
Yeah, Jed Fish adapted this offense. Started out 0 for 3, and they started mixing in some quick passing game. Allow him to get some completions. More importantly, get some confidence. And what you do, you got to make all 3 throws, as I said earlier. The level 1 throw, the gimme with a little bit of velocity. Now to the level 2 throw. It's got to have velocity, but it's also got to have some touch. Get it up and down. He excelled at that. And then you want to get your name in the paper, you got to complete the level 3 ball, the deep one, the sexy throw. And he hit a wide open receiver there for a big time touchdown. The confidence that he's playing with is a direct result of how Jedd Fisch is allowing him to take easy throws and mix in the shots.
Maybe the most interesting part of this look at the stats is the fact that Skylar Thompson isn't the quarterback shown for Kansas State. Delton had the big rushing first half. Skylar Thompson hit the bench for the bulk of the second half.
Yeah, and Delton's the one he's been the playmaker. Thompson struggled, but really what they need to do, they need to get their playmakers involved. They have two receivers, Isaiah Zuber and Byron Pringle, who are talented. They've taken shots downfield that have not been there. The protection hasn't held up. Take a page out of Jedd Fisch with some nice, quick, easy throws and get these quarterbacks, whether it is Delton or Thompson, in rhythm.
That's what Fisch did for Modster. He completed 10 in a row en route to 10 for 15 for 215 and a couple of scores. And he's, in some way at least, auditioning for his spot for next season with Chip Kelly, the incoming head coach.
Yeah, it's one thing to be able to develop and groom and excel with a talented quarterback like Josh Rosen. It's another thing to not really know who's going to play up until maybe minutes before the game and start to develop and groom a young quarterback that hasn't played a lot of football.
Modster, the screen, Olorunfunmi across the 25, and he'll be about 1.5 yards short of that first down marker. And for Modster, there was some growing pain as well, just in terms of what he was doing offensively at UCLA. He had never been under center in high school at Tesoro High School, and here he's very comfortable out of the shotgun with the quick throw to the outside for Theo Howard across the 35, and UCLA's humming offensively.
That's a key screen. That's what they call that. It's really a run pass option. When the box is stacked and you want to run the ball, that's a built-in throw, and it is made by the block there by Christian Pabico. We saw the big touchdown earlier with Pabico in a block. It's a great, easy completion.
And our first look at Soso Jamabo, who is in for the injured Olorunfunmi. Modster off play action. Another deep ball. Lastly trying to run under it, and DJ Reed was closest. Second down.
Like the idea, like the shot. Good job giving your guy a chance and throwing it up. The receiver was just unable to get on top of the defender there. He ends up running a post and getting inside, and not quite on the same page there. But I like the shot. First down. You just had a big fourth down. Take an opportunity. You still got 3 downs to get 10 yards here. 2 downs. Unless you're going to go for it every fourth down.
I mean, that guy made the choice.
He might.
Jedd Fisch, the interim head coach for UCLA. Jamabo is strung out by Kirby, and the cavalry for Kansas State, now 3rd and long.
Jade Kirby in there mixing it up. He's got 10.5 tackles for loss, and the reason he has that many this year, he's got great instincts. You see coming over and fighting over the top of a few blocks, runs right past the lead blocker and straight to the running back. UCLA's got a 3rd and 11 here.
Grew up on a ranch, Kirby did, as he says, roping calves and throwing down steers. So tackling,
that's harder than tackling. Yeah, I was going to say that makes tackling really easy.
Modster, sideline, dropped. Eldridge Massington couldn't turn around and make the grab.
And that's where you miss the accuracy of Josh Rosen. You have the leverage, you have the routes, just a simple out route or a little short comeback to the outside, and that ball, Modster's going to want that one back. Left that inside, should have had a completion for a first down.
Saw Rosen, one of the first ones to greet him over on the sideline. And Flintoff, who's had a nice night, sends this one out of bounds. Alex Barnes is dropped by Anaruka, the redshirt sophomore. Again, you mentioned the thin UCLA coaching staff. Dalton Hilliard and Kyle Weiss, the GAs, elevated to assistants for this game for UCLA because of rules involving the new head coach, Chip Kelly, hiring his own assistants. They're not coaching the game, so Hilliard and Weiss end up as legitimate coaches for UCLA on the sideline in this bowl game. Reverse for Zuber. And Isaiah Zuber cuts it back inside. What a run for Zuber. Barnes got a block for him. And Zuber is down at the 35.
Now, what I say, you got playmakers. You got to find ways to get them the ball, whether it's short passes or whether it's a reverse, little window dressing. Get your playmakers the ball, because this is what can happen. Zuber's an unbelievable athlete, gets to the edge, and this is all playmaker. Makes Darius Pickett miss, cuts back across field. That's a spark. More than anything, yeah, it's yards and you change field position, but that's a spark that Kansas State desperately needed on offense.
You have Dimmel out in front there, and then Barnes picks up the block right there.
Another great block there by Barnes. I mean, what did we say earlier? It's a team effort. Have big plays like that running the football. You got to have a couple big blocks downfield. UCLA is playing way off right now. Those easy throws that we saw Modster completing. If I'm looking at the sideline, I'm calling one of those.
It was Heath in the slot, and that's where it goes to Heath, who didn't have anybody in the area on first down.
Yeah, both corners on that side, the corner and the nickel playing 10 yards off. So what do? You run your outside receiver off to take that deep defender, and your slot guy runs a little quick out. Football's easy. Easy when you look to the sideline and you see what the defense they line up in.
Well, there's also nobody running at you in this booth,
well, yeah,
at least for now.
You need to back up.
First down, gain of 10.
More space now at the top of your screen. I come back to the same thing.
That's Heath again in the slot. Barnes, little sidestep. Nifty run for Barnes. Inside the 5 and out of bounds. First and goal, Kansas State.
That's just a great run. This is just a great run by Barnes. They're going to try to get off tackle to the left side. You leave the defensive end because you don't think he can get there, and when nothing's there front side, that's a playmaker. Cutting the ball back. That's why zone schemes are so dangerous at times. That cutback is often where you hit the play the biggest.
You said early that Dimmel will show you where the ball's going, and he is in the broken eye in front of Barnes. Play action. Delton with a stiff arm. He turns it upfield and leaps. He is out of bounds before the goal line.
Well, they tried to go to Dimmel. Tried a little play action. Try to find your fullback in the slot. Excuse me, in the flats. Wasn't there. Down here inside the 5-yard line, time and time again, we've seen Kansas State with little trickery. Had a jump pass. Barnes threw a touchdown last game. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to run on this one, but if you say it comes up with a stop, they're going to have something up their sleeve.
Dimmel straight ahead. No signal yet. He is down. It's third down and goal.
Just a little fullback dive. Dimmel's calling for it again. He said, let's do it again. Hard to tell where his body and knee went down. Ended up on the right side of the goal line, but
see if Dad calls a play for him to get him back in. His father, the offensive coordinator, in his final game.
I'd come right back to it.
Dimmel trying to drive the legs, and he's pushed back. Marcus Moore, the freshman for UCLA, was in on it.
And they come right back with a fullback dive, but this time, right side of that defensive line, you see him knife low to stop those blockers, and Moore finished it off. That's important there. Don't fall with the pile, but grab the guy and pull him back. It's a great job by 95 Marcus Moore on the outside. And why not? Jed Fish is doing it. Bill Snyder saying, I'll roll the dice too.
12 touchdowns last year for Dimmel. Who's going to get this
is going to be a quarterback sneak, and those 3 guys are going to help push him in.
Delton juggled the snap initially. He fights toward the goal line. No signal. Touchdown!
That's the hardest you'll fight for a foot on a football field. This is legal now. Remember the old Matt Leinart getting pushed in by Reggie Bush? Oh, you line up 3 of your big boys behind you and you tell them just push me in. That is 22 guys within about a 5-yard radius of each other, all fighting to get some yards. It's a good call. I thought they might come out with a wrinkle, but hey, that'll work.
Kansas State was dead last in the country in 4th down conversions coming into this game. And they score on 4th and goal after 1st and goal from the 5, 2nd and goal from the 2, 3rd and goal from the 1. They get the last yard with Delton on the touchdown. Johnson the return, and he drives across the 20. So Devon Modster takes over the steering wheel from Josh Rosen in this game. He's 13 out of 20 for 237 and 2.
He's been efficient every time he's got a chance to play. He's been efficient. 14 of 18 against Cal in a second half victory where he led them from behind. It's the deep passes. I mean, look at 2 TD passes of 50+ yards. Josh only has 1 of those on the season.
You getting the Cleveland Browns on the phone or what?
not so fast.
Olarin Funmi is back in at tailback for UCLA, and he's really got nowhere to go on this 1st down run. Ball came loose. Kansas State has it with Goolsby, and it's Wildcat football. Disaster for UCLA.
Goolsby's been all around the football tonight. Plays really well in the box, and in the scrum here, you stand the guy up and you go for the ball. Look at that. That's what you teach a DB. When there's already someone engaged in the tackle, you always go for the strip. And when his team needed it maybe the most, this is great field position for Kansas State to answer again.
That's a former high school running back. He had 31 touchdowns in his last season as a high school running back. Goolsby just absolutely crowbarred it from his UCLA counterpart. Delton behind Dimmel, and that's the right way to turn if you're the sophomore quarterback. 1st down, Kansas State.
And great block by Dimmel. What'd I say? Follow him, you'll follow the ball more often than not. He's been big. You see Dimmel right there, lining up on the left side. Oh, what do you know?
He switched back. Delton gets taken down. Oh, Kenny Young may have saved a touchdown.
This is why he's dangerous. We've seen him already time and time again tonight. Cutback. He's trying to find Dimmel. Dimmel gets engaged, but sees an opening, and that is a touchdown-saving tackle right there by Kenny Young,
who had a career-high 15 tackles in the win against Cal that got UCLA to a bowl game. He's top 15 in school history coming into this game. Dimmel, big block. Delton could not shake the tackle of Young, so 3rd down. There's Olarin Funmi, who had the fumble for UCLA, the 12th fumble the Bruins have lost this year. That's in the bottom quarter of the FBS. Third down, Kansas State. Quick set, quick throw. Heath breaks a tackle, touchdown. Kansas State leads. So the guy who got him to the 1-yard line in the Iowa State game to eventually score the winning touchdown with Zuber gives Kansas State its second touchdown in 137 seconds.
And go with the check with me system. You can look to the sideline, see if you got the right play on. Watch the eyes here. He sees it. He knows UCLA didn't adjust. Easy throw. Get it to your playmaker. Answer.
Kansas State playing for a little bit more than just the guys on the sideline right now, right, Olivia?
Right, Jason. Their rally may be inspired by a teammate that they're missing with heavy hearts tonight, but saving an extra ticket for. The Wildcat football team sort of adopted a 12-year-old little boy named Caden Schroeder years back. He passed away earlier this month after an 8-year battle with leukemia. From McPherson, Kansas, he became a statewide celebrity. Coach Snyder even let him score a touchdown in the 2014 spring game. And then the team fundraised his trip to the 2015 Fiesta Bowl. In July, guys, he relapsed for the 6th time, and he passed away December 1st. The Wildcats honor him today by keeping these 2 seats empty for their little warrior.
It's a neat story for Kansas State, and it all started out here during a bowl game, essentially during a trip out west, and certainly a lot of heavy hearts on that sideline for Kansas State.
I remember seeing the video when he scored that touchdown, suited up in the K-State purple and silver. Pretty special. And you think football players are strong and you think what they go through is tough. Imagine fighting for 8 years, relapsing 6 times. That's some strength you can find some motivation from, and Kansas State right now has found some motivation from their little guy that's looking down on them from above right now.
Bill Snyder has Bill Snyder Family Stadium on the building in Manhattan, and this adds to the definition. It worked out perfectly. Now the reverse. Christian Papico is undercut by Walker. The safety comes up. He's out of Long Beach, and he doused Papico from his same town.
Well, that's a heck of a play by Eli Walker coming from the safety position. That's a reverse. He reads that the entire way. We've seen Denzel Goolsby making those plays, but his backup Eli Walker, big play there for the stop.
That's lastly the leading receiver in motion for UCLA. Modster has it tipped again. Trey Deshawn, the sophomore, with the bat down. It's a couple now tonight that Modster has had batted at the line.
Yeah, it's a great job, as I mentioned earlier, by Kansas State. When you don't hit home as a defensive lineman, when you don't get to the quarterback, your job is to put your hands up. UCLA with a good call there, trying to get a nice, easy completion. Try to cut the distance down for 3rd down. Now you're in the 3rd and long. Jason, I think this is going to be a quarterback draw here. They spread everybody out.
Quick set, quick throws, sideline route, and Olarun Funmi is spun out of bounds. Jade Kirby finished the deal. So look, you're at the 50-yard line. It's 4th down. You're down 4. You just faked it.
They're going. Look at this. They're trying to get some tempo, get guys lined up.
Look at the eyes on Jed Fish there. He's absolutely locked in.
I bet his message to the team before the game was, hey, we're going to leave it all out there. We're going to go for it. We're going to be aggressive. That kind of mentality permeates an entire team, and you play at a higher level. Leaving it all out there right now.
Kirby was late on the field. 4th down for Modster. Over the top, incomplete off Lasley's left hand. The new coach watching over UCLA falls short on this drive.
One of the matchups to watch, I mentioned it early in the game. Jordan Lasley, number 2, going against DJ Reed, the dangerous special teams guy, also a good defender. There's a little hand fighting there. That one, he might have hooked his right arm there. Chip getting involved here. Trying not to show too much emotion, but he wants these guys to play well. But what I mentioned, get into man coverage, force this quarterback to throw into tight windows, into contested throws. A good job of going man there on third.
If you're UCLA, you want interference on that ball.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Probably could have got it.
Dimmel is dropped by Kenny Young.
Love that Texas and Missouri matchup. Old Big 12 rivals. Missouri's offense is playing as good as anybody in the country.
Delton hits Dimmel, and it's third down. Missouri's offense will be under new management coming up with Josh Heupel as Dimmel is injured. Josh Heupel going to UCF.
And Jed Fish has been in conversations for that Missouri spot.
This would be a big loss. Dimmel injured.
And you can tell he's already got an apparatus on that shoulder. Falls right on it.
They work on Dimmel on the sideline. End of the third quarter. Kansas State trying to complete the comeback. You're watching the Cactus Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. That is, I'm told, Candy Cane Lane here in Phoenix. Lois's very festive brother.
Through the swirly, twirly gumdrops.
You okay
and
over there?
I walked through the Lincoln Tunnel. Yeah, it's Christmas. Elf, one of my favorites.
What
Come
are
on
your
now,
favorite
Jason.
food groups?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, there you go. So third down for Kansas State. Delton bides his time and is going to be very close. It depends on where he reached the ball to. One official's got it right at the 40. Another one was short, and they do give him the first down.
And he's showing some patience on those runs, but the reason he's showing patience, this is an RPO. They run a slant on the outside. He's got the option to pass this, tucks it, and gets the first down.
Ooh, I don't know.
It was close. Let's see. They going to call it?
I don't know that ball ever got to the 40. Barnes first down and more. A lot more. Everything more. Touchdown.
Alex Barnes took that one all the way, but let me tell you what, the threat of Alex Delton as a running quarterback pulled two defenders off of Barnes and allowed him to hit a short cutback and have nobody in front of him.
Look, it's been a big couple of weeks for Alex Barnes. He scores a touchdown in the bowl game. He's a huge Star Wars fan. The new Star Wars came out. He used to watch marathons with his mom when he was growing up. So you talk about a big 14 days. Barnes into the end zone. 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns in the second half for Kansas State.
So having the threat of a running quarterback, which they're going to give the zone here, but this quarterback, the threat would be to keep it this way. That's going to pull 2 defenders with the quarterback, and then Barnes is able to take it to the house. Watch this develop here as 91 and 11 both go or hesitate, worrying about Delton running the football, and nobody there for the cutback. The influence of a running quarterback.
A little fire up time for the offensive line from Barnes, and now Holmes looking for a big play for UCLA, suddenly down a couple scores, and the great kick coverage team for Kansas State does the trick. Just a quick set. Theo Howard is stood up by Duke Shelley. Nice tackle.
All right, I love this. I love this. If you're a UCLA fan right now, you're thinking, oh, shoot, we're down 11. We got to get big chunk plays. No, no, no. There's 13 minutes left. You're not going to get 11 points in one play. So don't panic. Don't push too early. Play within the confines of the offense that has made you successful to this point, which has been those successful short dink and dunk passes when Kansas is in off coverage and capitalizing.
Modster Goes to the outside again. Lastly, gets chopped down by Eli Walker a couple of yards short. So this pass defense that's second worst in the country coming into today has played well, at least so far, open field tackling on this drive. A lot of loft on that, and Pabico got his hands on it but couldn't reel it in.
And what do we see? Third down, man coverage. This is a great throw. This is actually a very accurate throw, but a contested throw against man coverage, it's difficult. We've seen that adjustment. We've seen that adjustment by Kansas State. More man coverage, especially on third.
Off the very first 3 and out of this game for the UCLA offense, Flintoff helps them flip the field, and what a choice that was for DJ Reed to go backward to the 1 yard line. Whoa.
And this is where being a confident playmaker will bite you sometimes. He should have picked this one up a lot earlier. That one, you made a mistake. Don't make a bad play worse. Let that one go. Lucky he didn't get in the end zone.
26 seasons, 2 stints at Kansas State as the head coach, so a lot to go through in his mind for Bill Snyder. And the memory that really stands out for him is down the road in Tucson, the 1993 Copper Bowl, first bowl game under Bill Snyder. Kansas State got a win, but also brought scores of fans to the game, and he got a very worthy bath at the end of that, because this team nearly lost its Division I status as Alex Barnes spins out of a tackle into the arms of Young. And look, Bill Snyder told us when he first got the job, the attendance was so low they're going to get kicked out of Division I. It was either join Division II or drop football altogether. First year they go 1-10 in 1989, but he used that attendance number to drive people to the game and say, look, we're going to lose what we have if you don't come. And he got the program on the right track. And
as good of an X's and O's coach he is, that's also what you got to be as a CEO and really your own best marketer, to get your fans involved. And back when a time when it wasn't facilities, it wasn't cool uniforms, it was show up and see the product. He turned this thing around, and it's the reason he's highly regarded as one of the best there is.
And the questions abound. Will he come back? Will he not? There was a report out that he said was erroneous when we talked to him this week before the game. He has not made up his mind about whether or not he is going to coach in the future after this game for Kansas State.
Yeah, and is that the best scenario for recruits and for the program as a whole? Maybe not, but when you've done what Bill Snyder has done, when you've had the success that he's had, you've earned your right to think about it after making yet another bowl game.
Delton rummaging for the first down. Downstairs, Olivia.
Yeah, guys, a lot of Bill Snyder's decision comes down to private conversations with his family, but he also says, hey, as long as I'm effective in helping shape young men, set up a value system to create opportunities beyond football, that's really the first thing he looks at. But then after he consults his family and the administration, he gets a heartbeat of what the fans want. He reads copious amounts of letters, emails, a good deal of research goes into that, guys.
One part of the reason that family is so important too is because his son, who played at Kansas State, is a coach for him, and there have been some reports as well about Bill Snyder wanting his son to take over the program. Delton to the 20. There is Sean Snyder, who played at Kansas State, the special teams guy right now for the Wildcats.
Yeah, an extremely capable coach. And here's my opinion, though. In this day and age, in recruiting the way it is, the flashy uniforms, the facilities, the sexy head coaching hires, you need to make a splash at times. And I think it wouldn't be as big of a splash as maybe Kansas State needs or maybe they should do, even though it may be successful. We'll see what happens, but in the back of my mind, Jason, I keep coming back to a name in the SEC that has had a track record of running the football in Brett Bielema. And I know it didn't go the way he wanted at Arkansas, but if I'm looking at eventually replacing Bill Snyder, the great Bill Snyder, I think Brett Bielema would be a good fit here for Kansas State.
You say making the splash, and UCLA gets Chip Kelly, and they get the big name and that guy, but are things going so wrong for Kansas State?
No,
they've gone to 8 straight bowl games, so do you need the splash at that point?
No, and like I said, it's not that Bill Snyder's son, Sean Snyder, is not capable and could do a very, very good job as a head coach. But I just think we're in a different era of being a head coach. We're in an era where you can go to 3, 4 straight bowl games, win 10, 11 games, and you have a season of 7, you might be out the door. And they might pay you $10 million to be out the door.
But the counter to that is that's not how it works in Manhattan, Kansas.
Right.
And that's not how it has worked in Manhattan, Kansas.
But here's what I'll say to that. Counter to your counter, we're boxers here going back and forth. Being successful in college football now is about making the college football playoffs. It's about winning championships and getting a chance to compete for national championships. So every move you make as a program should be a step in that direction. Not a lateral step, not a step back, but a step in the direction of competing for national championships.
This run game over 300 yards, and Barnes accelerating for another first down. I mean, 4 teams make the college football playoff, though. If it's all about that, then we don't have these moments of, we've talked about Christian Pubico, the walk-on,
Totally.
and Kenny Young in his senior season playing at a baseball stadium wearing Jackie Robinson's number. There are moments in these bowl games that aren't college football playoff moments that are perfectly wonderful moments for sports.
100%, and I completely agree. I think there's a lot that goes into just bowl games and how beneficial that can be to programs that are middle of the road or even top-tier programs from a recruiting standpoint, a player development standpoint. So that wasn't meant to slight these bowl games or the success that Kansas State has had by any means.
Byron Pringle, who is one of those success stories, by the way. He makes just catch number 2 on the night. But here's a young man who got 4 years probation from some crimes at age 16. He sat out as a high school junior in the Tampa area. Originally, he was going to go to Youngstown State, got arrested again. And Bill Snyder took a chance after he went to junior college, and Pringle has been a major home run threat for Kansas State this year.
I mean, Jason, home run threat is an understatement. He's averaging over 25 yards a reception. They're going to milk every second of this play clock that they can.
Delton finds Heath, and he gets out of bounds even though he didn't want to. And a flag comes in with some post-play malfeasance on the sideline. That is not good news for the Bruins. Jordan Lastly, who has had some.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, UCLA number 2, 15-yard penalty, first down. That's number 2's first unsportsmanlike conduct of the game.
And Lastly's on the sideline. Watch.
I mean, as a former player, I don't know. I mean, yeah, you shouldn't be trash talking when you're an offensive player and your defense is out there.
It's been a rather checkered career at UCLA. Lastly's been awesome when he's been on the field, but he missed a team bus at one point, suspended for 3 games. He was suspended his first week on campus when he got to UCLA, and there a major penalty. Delton goes down in a heap with Kenny Young once again.
I see what you did there. On the football field as well, because they need to stop. They need to get this ball back with just over 5.5 left, down 11.
They got to make sure they're down 11 too.
Yeah.
Quick toss, and Heath is whipped out of bounds with a flag coming in. Jaleel Wadu, the senior who went to the same high school as Rosen.
Defense, number 4, half the distance of the goal, penalty, first down.
And I think you're starting to see the frustration of this football team, not only being down 11, but the adversity they've gone through. Coach Jim Mora getting fired, the wildfires in Southern California disrupting their practice plans, a new head coach. I mean, this has been really a last month of turmoil for UCLA. They've held it together, but focus is often really affected by what's going on outside the game as well, and you can see the frustration.
Especially when you're down.
Yes, that amplifies it.
Valentine in for Dimmel in that fullback spot. Delton follows him, so a drive that started at the K-State 2 has made it inside the UCLA 5.
And as good as Delton's been tonight, you got to credit Colin Klein, the quarterback coach. He's dealt with 3 different starters at that position for Kansas State. Obviously, he was pretty good himself, a Heisman finalist at K-State, a dual-threat quarterback. And when you talk with these quarterbacks, they say we can relate to him. He speaks our language, and that's the barrier that sometimes coaches and players miss. So to have a guy that's done it, grooming 3 guys that need the advice and are low on experience, he's done a great job.
Delton picks his way in. Touchdown.
How about that? All the hype, all the talk coming in was about the cardiac kid, Skylar Thompson, and what he's done late in this season, and the superstar of the night, Alex Delton, just adding to his stellar performance.
No Josh Rosen tonight for UCLA. And frustration setting in for the Bruins, but Alex Delton, who was the first signee in the 2015 class for Kansas State, gets in again.
What a night. Football's simple when you can run the football. You're confident, you're athletic, talented, and K-State's up 18 and rolling.
So Oklahoma, Georgia, Clemson, Alabama, the pit of misery is where they want to send UCLA, evidently.
You hear a lot of dilly-dillies from the winners.
You wonder what would have happened if not for the Olarunfunmi fumble on the short field as well, which helped turn the game.
You know what's crazy, Jason? You look at the score, 35-17. If it ends with this score, you might say, it wasn't a close game. It's amazing how plays like a fumble, 1 or 2 plays in a game completely change how it plays out. And so it was much closer than the scoreboard will show at the end of this game, but Kansas State, rightfully so, dominated on the ground and closed this thing out.
Olarunfunmi, by the way, just moments ago was looking up at the screen when he was on the screen here in the stadium and realized that he was on the screen while he was talking to Brandon Stevens.
That's never good. I don't want to see what I look like right now.
3rd down and 9, and what presumably is the final game in one of those jerseys for Josh Rosen. You think maybe top overall pick?
I think so. It's going to depend. I know he had some words about the draft and how sometimes it's better to, no flag there in the secondary. But sometimes as a quarterback, Rosen stated earlier that it's better to get picked up later and go to a better situation rather than early to a team like Cleveland Browns. We'll see how it sorts out. Been a couple quarterbacks of recent memory that played a part in their own destiny at times. You wonder if that's in the cards for a guy like Josh Rosen when you see what Eli Manning was able to do in going to a team that he preferred over the one that initially drafted him. A lot to be sorted out, though. I think he's talented. I think he's the most pro-ready quarterback. I think he'll be the first one off the board.
Lastly, swatted Sullivan away, but is taken out of bounds on 4th down and 19. He's well short. Kansas State will get it back, and we'll step aside before Bill Snyder gets doused. The junior out of St. John Bosco, who we saw on our airwaves in high school, has grown up and is on his way, presumably, to the NFL draft.
Yeah, and there's a lot of reasons why. The numbers speak for themselves, but really the intangibles. And his ceiling is well higher than what he's achieved just here in college based on his skill set, his arm strength, his accuracy. the intangibles that you can't put on a piece of paper, which are the confidence and the leadership skills as well.
Hunter Hall in at quarterback, and there's a nice run for Kansas State, and Tyler Burns, who's checked in. So Hall, the sophomore, now the fourth quarterback to take snaps for Kansas State. Bill Snyder gets win number 210 at Kansas State.
Unbelievable performance, a lot to be hopeful for with or without Bill Snyder. Hopefully he's back. Love watching the Bill Snyder coach football team, and a lot of talent will return, headlined by Alex Delton in the night he had at quarterback for the Wildcats.
3 rushing touchdowns, a $158 on the ground. His first run went 68 yards for a touchdown. And his Wildcats are winners of the Cactus Bowl 2017. Likely the final game for Josh Rosen. Will it be the last game for Bill Snyder at Kansas State? If it is, it's a win. 35-17 is your final score for the Wildcats, as Bill Snyder seeks out Jed Fish for the post-game handshake, which leads to an embrace. 35-17, your final score. ESPN3, the post-game trophy ceremony. SportsCenter is now